Hare Krishna. So we are on the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, the perfection of renunciation. So let us start our day by taking the blessings and mercy of Shri Radha Govinda and our Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Cha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are meeting after a long break. Last week I could not join because of my travel schedule. Yesterday we had a very wonderful Janmashtami celebration in one of my friend's apartment. The beauty of this level 1 course, Prabhupada says quality is important, quantity is not important. I joined this level 1 course in September 2020 by the mercy of Namanishta Prabhu and ISKCON Mangalore. Through that, whoever friends I used to meet, family, I used to encourage them to take up online course, chanting of holy name, Krishna consciousness movement, whoever I used to convey. I was doing my duty. And few took that suggestions. And one of my friend who took that suggestion, I was behind him for almost 2 years. And now he's chanting 16 rounds. He's doing wonderful things in this devotional service. So he, in his residential apartment, which has about 1,000 flats, there in association, in discussion with the association there, he initiated this Janmashtami celebration in association with the local ISKCON center. And this is first such event happening in their society. And it was so wonderful to see almost 650 participants in that event. It's a very grand event. 600 plus people have never even chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra even once. But one person's initiative, it has created such a wave in that society yesterday. Everybody were singing and dancing for Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Such a beautiful event yesterday. So that made me realize whatever little effort we put, Prabhupada and Guru Parampara's mercy, Krishna's mercy so much, they expand this like anything. So it is such a great responsibility on all of us to encourage all our friends and family about this Krishna consciousness movement, chanting of holy names. We never know who is going to take that very seriously and who become very sincere and progress very nicely. So it's very important we encourage everybody. It was very happy view for me. Looks like whom I was encouraging, he has gone much far beyond what I am today. Yeah. So now let us move on with our session for the day. So let us have a quick recap of chapter 17. We are meeting after almost 2 weeks now. So let me see what all you remember from what we discussed in chapter 17. So somebody wish to take up?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So basically, Arjuna is inquiring about unauthorized worship of the people who have little faith, but it's not based on the scriptures. And also, it is mentioned like how food, sacrifice, austerity, and charity, everything needs to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. You also mentioned one important point, Prabhuji, where you said like we are in between these divine and in between the divine and demoniac qualities, and as we take up more of these divine qualities, we can rise above, otherwise we will fall down. Also the akara in the om, it is said that the akara is Krishna, ukara is Radha, and makara is Jiva, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice, Mataji. Very nicely recap. Anybody else wish to add any further points? Any of your inputs?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah. We also spoke of charity in the three modes. So in the mode of goodness, it is very important to give the charity to a worthy person and also at the proper time and place and without having any expectations of any return. Also, we spoke of charity in the mode of passion, in which when charity is given with expectation of return and expecting some results in our favor, and also of the charity in the mode of ignorance, where charity is given to an unworthy person at a wrong time and place. So this was also some of the points we discussed last time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. So very nicely said. So a couple of points which I wish to add here is now importance of austerity. In Krishna Janmashtami, we just concluded our Krishna Janmashtami. Many of us have done fasting on that particular day, isn't it? So what is the necessity of this fasting? What do you feel?
Is it for more purification, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. That is also one of the point. See, basically, when we are doing austerity, when we are doing fasting, or for example, we are waking up in Brahma Muhurta, all these things are all austerities. Why we need to do this austerity is to rise in our realization that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Most of our time, if you see, we are spending so much time for our bodily needs. Preparing food, eating food, we give so much of importance. Sometime, half an hour, we don't get food in time. We lose our calmness, especially, particularly me. So when we are doing such austerities, we will realize we have to rise above those bodily needs and realize that we are the spirit soul, not this body. And I was also thinking when I was doing Nirjal till midnight, I was thinking, I'm taking this fasting, why Krishna is so pleased by me being going through all these discomforts. So as Kirti Mataji said, it is for our purification. When we are doing all these things, we are purifying, and as a result, we will go back to Krishna, and that is why Krishna is pleased. Yeah, this is again a very important realization we need to understand. Krishna wants us to be there more than what we want to go back to Krishna. That is why when we take one step, Krishna take 100 steps in these endeavors. Yeah. And the conclusion, as we said, Om Tat Sat. This is the representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all these sacrifices, austerity, charity, everything to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, without which it is impermanent and asat, inauspicious. So with this understanding, now we will move to chapter 18. It's a very big chapter, about 78 slokas are there. We will try to cover in 3 sessions. Today we will try to cover at least up to 20-25 slokas, and then next Saturday and Sunday we will cover it up. So there are different sections. The first section, 18.1 to 12, this talks about freedom from the bondage, this material bondage, through karma yoga. In this, we again need to understand that the importance of doing our prescribed duties and renounce the fruits of such activities and not renouncing the work itself. Many people in the beginning, when they take up these spiritual things, they feel that we have to renounce everything, go back, go to some places and completely dedicate our life in bhakti. That is not going to help us, because so much of anarthas are within us. We need that purification, and this purification will come by engaging in our prescribed duties, facing all the challenges of the society, still understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, implementing those knowledge in our life, and then gradually purifying and then elevating. And then next 13 to 18, this talks about the 5 factor of action. Most of the time, whenever there is a success, we feel I have done it, isn't it? So we will understand what are those 5 factors which is responsible for that action. It is not only me. There are 5 factors. So we are going to discuss about what are those 5 factors. And then through 19 to 40, we discuss about 3 modes of material nature, how we have entangled in these modes of material nature, and how all the activities are being done by the influence of material nature. And 41 to 48, we discuss about the purification process from this material entanglement by engaging in prescribed duty based on the Varnashrama Dharma. And then 56 to 66, this talks about pure devotional service, acting in Krishna consciousness. And 67 to 78, this concludes the entire Bhagavad Gita. So this is how the sections are divided. Starting with the first section, Arjuna is inquiring about what is sannyasa and what is tyaga. And Krishna defines what is this, what is sannyasa and tyaga. And Krishna says a true sannyasi does not renounce his activities, but renounce the fruits of his activities. So this is very important. We should not be too attached to the material opulences, what we are getting out of our prescribed duty, our activities. This is all for the service of Krishna as well as for our own engagements. And then 7 to 8, renunciation in 3 modes. So renunciation, renouncing one's prescribed duty is ignorance, is what Krishna is explaining. We should never renounce our prescribed duties. And renouncing one's prescribed duties out of fear is in the mode of passion, and dutifully performing one's prescribed duty with detachment to the fruits of action is mode in goodness. So such renuncer has no reaction is what we will learn as we progress today. The first sloka somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tadvit Muchami Veditum Tyagasya Cha Rishikesha Keshini Gadana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, Sannyasa, O killer of the Keshi demon, the master of senses. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Today being Sunday, many of them have taken a skip. So whoever is comfortable with sloka recitation like Santoshi Mataji or Kirti Mataji, you can go on. And English translations, other devotees can recite, right? So chapter 18 is the summary of all the 17 chapters. And in all chapters, Krishna spoke about the ultimate goal of our life. We were living like animals before coming, eating, defending, mating. These are our common activities, isn't it? So what is the purpose of this life? So what comes to your mind? What is our purpose of this life?
To go back to Godhead.
Yes. But how? How you will go back to Godhead? That is our purpose.
By following the guidelines given by our acharyas, Prabhuji, like chanting and the ABCD of bhakti. And
yes. So the purpose of our life is bhakti yoga, the devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this devotional service include ABCD of bhakti, all Navavidha bhakti, all those things we have discussed in detail, right? So that is our purpose. Going back to Godhead, not that is in hands of Krishna. The sincerity and the seriousness with which we did devotional service, Krishna will decide. Right? So, devotional service is our ultimate goal. And how can we progress in this devotional service? Is by taking shelter of Guru Parampara, association of devotees, serving in association of devotees, and chanting holy names. These three is the secret of continuing in this devotional service. Many joined level 2 class. Many joined level 1 class. Hundreds of registrations. And then how many successfully completed level 1? And how many joined level 2? And one of the devotee was asking me, there are about 60 to 70 participants in the group joined level 2. How many are joining? So two things which comes to my mind is Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabham is what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. So whoever is there today in the class, those are those Sudurlabha Mahatmas, what Krishna is talking about. So you stayed till the last chapter. And what is important, need to understand, Devi Isha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya. Krishna is saying this also, that Maya, overcoming the forces of Maya, is very strong. If a pride comes to you that yes, I have come this far, that is the end of your progress. We have just started in this bhakti. There is long way to go. Now, having completed level 2, almost you are all completing level 2, progressing to level 3 is important in association of devotees by taking shelter of Guru Parampara. Otherwise, people at very exalted levels practicing 25-30 years have fallen. So it is very important to be humble and under the shelter of Guru Parampara. Yeah. And then, so this, the devotional service is what summarized in the entire chapter. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita stresses bhakti through karma yoga. And again, at the end of 6th chapter, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita Shloka 6.47, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. So it says the Bhakti Yoga is supreme of all. Among all the yogas, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. And then next 6th yoga, as you know, the Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections, isn't it? Somebody remember what are those 3 sections? First 6 chapter, middle 6 chapter, and last 6 chapters. What is predominantly covered in first 6 chapter, middle 6 chapter, and last 6 chapters?
The first 6 is about Karma Yoga, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
And the next is about Bhakti Yoga.
Yes.
And the last is Jnana Yoga.
Jnana. Yes, Mataji. So the last 6 chapter is also pure devotional service, and it's Bhakti Yoga talks about pure devotional service, and the last 6 chapter discuss about the knowledge, Jnana Yoga, knowledge, renunciation, activities of material nature, transcendental nature, and then it connects to devotional service, where Krishna says, Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha shami masuchaha. So abandon all kind of religious activities and surrender unto me is what Krishna is saying at the end of the chapter. So it was concluded that all acts should be, in previous chapter in 17, all acts should be performed for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, and summarized by the word Om Tat Sat, which represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the purpose of the life, as we said, is to renounce from this material entanglement and attain the self-realization by engaging in devotional service. What is self-realization? That we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. And the constitutional position is Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. So we are always there to serve Krishna and his devotees. That is our constitutional position. And what is the constitutional position of the Supreme Lord? He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the supreme controller. He is the supreme maintainer and the dear friend. Let's now move to the next sloka. Somebody can read the sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo viduhu sarvakarma phala tyagam prahustyagam vichakshanaha.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Lord said, to give up the result of all activities is called renunciation, tyaga by the wise. And that state is called the renounced order of life, sannyasa, by great learned men. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So here, the meaning of tyaga and sannyasa is being further detailed. To give up the results of the activity is tyaga, and the state, the renounced order of the life is sannyasa of a person who is doing it. So what we need to understand is the performance of the activities for the results to be given up. That is the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. We need to do our prescribed duty and leave the results to the Supreme Lord. It could be success or failure. It is all to the Supreme Lord. And what kind of work we should not renounce? Any activity which advances one to the spiritual progress and its knowledge. Such activity should not be given up. And those are our prescribed duty, which will help us to purify and advance. People do lot of sacrifices, isn't it? Lot of sacrifices, lot of yagna, homas they do with the expectation of material opulences. So such sacrifices to be stopped. And we have discussed many times what is the best sacrifices prescribed for this yuga, Kali Yuga.
Chanting.
Sankirtan.
Yes, the best yagna is Nama Sankirtana Yagna. Harer Nama Nameva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata. Many would have already listened to this many times. I recently attending one class. I learned one more important thing out of this sloka. Why 3 times it is saying Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata? What is the significance of this?
To stress that there is no other way, absolutely no other way, and this is definitely the only thing, and to make it more.
Yes. Yes. So this is what we all have learned. There is a deeper meaning to it. Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata signifies neither Karma Yoga, nor Jnana Yoga, nor Ashtanga Yoga is going to help you in Kali Yuga. Only chanting of holy name, Harer Nama Nameva Kevalam. Yeah. Such a beautifully, there is so much deeper meaning for all these things. And this you can learn not by your own endeavors. 3 years I have never knew about this. Only by in association of devotees, when you listen by Guru Mukha, you get all this knowledge. And when you get this knowledge, you have to share this knowledge to as many people as possible. Moving further, next sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother.
Tyajam doshavadhiti eka karma prahur manasina yajna dana tapa karma tyajam iti chapare. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up. But there are yet other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So here in this purport, what Prabhupada says is, some say that sacrifice of animal is not recommended. And some say in Vedas, in some section of Karmakanda sections, it is said that sacrificing animal for specific thing is good. I said, when we sacrifice animal, so that animal is going to get the next birth as human form, so that can engage in devotional service and go back. So these are all contradicting viewpoints are being clarified going further in further slokas. Yes, Mataji, somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yajnadana tapah karma natyajyam karyameva tat yajnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam.
Hare Krishna. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this verse clearly tells that sacrifices, charity, and penance should not be given up, which helps us for our spiritual advancement. Doing sacrifice, charity, and penance for our material advancement should be given up. So what to be given up, what not to be given up, there is a clearly distinction here. And marriage ceremony, an example Prabhupada gives in the purport is about marriage ceremony. A sannyasi who has renounced his family, should he engage in such ceremony? So here we understand Krishna says such purificatory processes should not be given up. So sannyasi has to participate in such ceremony because as per Varnashrama Dharma, the person in lower order, they can get married and follow the practice through Grihastha. Yeah. So that is again is a purification of one's sense enjoying propensities. And gradually he will rise. So without such practices, there will be a disturbance in the society. Similarly, we discussed about charity. Charity to be given to what kind of person? What is charity actually doing? We think by paying some money, we have done something great for the other person. It could be even for the devotional service. We think that by giving this charity, it helped in some way. Krishna is Akilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. Koti Lakshmis are serving Krishna. Krishna don't need our money. What is happening through this charity is we are relieving from our own material attachments. We are so attached to our material opulences. Whatever we have, we need more, isn't it? Somebody very nicely said, this material opulences, the money is like salt. If you put salt in your dish to proper quantity, it tastes very nicely. If you add more, you become more thirsty. So more money, you need more. So how do we get over this? Is by realizing that whatever we have is given by the Supreme Lord, and we have to engage this in the service of the Supreme Lord. So it is helping us more. Otherwise, what is happening? There is a beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita 2.44. Bhogaishwarya prasattanam taya pahata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. So it says, one who is too attached to material opulences and sense enjoying propensities, he will never get the determination to progress further in his devotional service. That is the importance of all the sacrifices, charity, and penances. Right? Let us move further to the next sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mata.
एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्.
All these activities should be performed without any exception of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty of son of Partha. That is my final opinion.
Yes. So as we discussed, all these sacrifices are for our purification, and one should not expect any returns out of such performances. And as we discussed in last chapter, we have to do this as a matter of duty. When we do something for our kids at home, it is matter of duty. We need not have to be too proud about such things. And what we need to be very clear is all these sacrifices meant for material advancement to be given up, and spiritual advancement should not be given up. The same is been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam also. It also confirms that all the activities which lead to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. We have seen the devotees of the Lord accept any kind of work or sacrifices and charity which help them in discharging his devotional service. That is what we discussed in Nectar of Devotion 1.2.255. Anasaktasya vishayam yataram upayunjato nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya uchyate. What is yukta vairagya? You accept everything for the service of Krishna and reject everything which is not used to serve for Krishna. That is the right way of renunciation. Let us move on to next sloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityagas tamasa parikirtitaha.
Hare Krishna. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So the renunciation, if we are renouncing our prescribed duties, such renunciation is in the mode of ignorance. So one should not renounce working and earning money thinking it is fruitive activities. There is always a misconception. Many people think we have to renounce our work. Many people say they justify these things, that earning money is also fruitive activities. I should renounce that. No, that is not which is mentioned here. We have to utilize all the fruits of such activities for the service of the Supreme Lord. If not, such renunciation is in mode of passion. The result of passion work is always miserable, is what it says. 8.8. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear or bodily discomfort. All these things we do, isn't it? To wake up early in Brahma Muhurta, we have so many excuses. So all such are in mode of passion. And prescribed duty must be performed with the mentality that one should act without any attachment for results. That is what we are trying to understand from these slokas. And a man working in Krishna consciousness in a factory does not bother about what kind of work he is doing, because he only thinks he is working for Krishna. He simply works for Krishna. And when he gives up the results for Krishna, he is acting in transcendental position. The symptoms of proper renunciation. One who is in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work. And he has no doubt. So whatever work he is doing, irrespective of what work he is doing, if he is doing it for Krishna and not attached to the fruits of work, that is in mode of goodness. Further, the English translation here, 8.10 and 18.10 and 18.12 is mentioned here. Somebody wish to read this? in the screen.
Hare Krishna. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. Bhagavad Gita 18.10.
In the right
The
hand side,
one,
Mataji.
yeah. For one who is not renounced the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to enjoy or suffer. Bhagavad Gita 18.12.
Yeah, so here it is clearly outlined how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose one should renounce such fruits of work. And 18.12, it says a person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness does not hate anything or anything which troubles his body. Everything he consider it is for service of Krishna. Such person is situated in transcendence and should be understood to be the most intelligent person. So we have seen when we visit temple, there are so many devotees who will be cleaning vessels, so many devotees doing so many menial services, but in the eyes of Krishna, everything is same. The pujari worshipping deities or a devotee washing vessel, it is all equal in eyes of Krishna. The bhav with which they are doing this service is what is more important. So we are moving to section B. This talks about the Jnana section. The conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta, action directed by the super soul being freedom from the reaction. So here we discuss about the actions, the causes of all the right and wrong actions. Prabhupada says in his purport, a foolish person thinks that he is the doer. Here, in these verses, as we progress, we clearly understand there are 5 factors. Adhisthanam, that is body. Karta, one who does. Karanam, senses. Chesta, the effort, endeavors. And Daivam, the super soul. The body, the doer is, in our localized thing is soul, senses, endeavors, and the super soul. All 5 is what constitute for the actions. And finally, it is being the supreme will of the Lord, acting under the super soul's direction. Such a person is not affected by such action. Every action, there is a reaction. But when you are acting under the supreme direction of the super soul, then there is no attachment to the reactions. The sloka in Bhagavad Gita about this 3.27. Praktate kriya maneni guye karmani sarvachau ahankara vimuktatma kartaram iti manyate. So it says the spirit soul, bewildered the spirit soul, we, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself to be an doer. It is purely because of our false ego we are thinking that. What is the real ego? Real ego is to understand that this is not this, I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, and my constitutional position is to serve. This is the real ego. The false ego is I am the doer. So we have to rise above this false ego. So let's move on to the next sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam Adhishtanam tata karta karanam cha prathak vidam vividascha prathak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam.
Somebody can read the English translation.
Hare Krishna. O mighty armed Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here the question may be raised, since every activity has some or the other reaction, how a person engaging in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy reaction of the work. So Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham ridhi sannivisto matha smitir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So Krishna says, as a super soul, he gives us the knowledge, intelligence, and remembrance, and acts done under the Krishna's direction do not yield any reactions, either in this life or life after the death. So one, we need to understand our constitutional position is to serve. The free will is ours, the choice is ours, the independence is ours. Krishna doesn't interfere in our independence. Now, if we choose to serve Krishna, there is no reaction. At the same time, if we chose to serve Maya, there is always a reaction, and that is how we continue to get entangled in this material world. So all actions under the supreme will of the Lord is not our action. We are just an instrument. Krishna is getting things done through us. This is the realization we need to understand. Let's move further. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sharira Vagma no Biryat Karma Karma Prarabhati Naraha Nyayam Va Viparitam Va Panchaiti Tasya Hetavaha.
Next sloka.
Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyatya kruta buddhitvat nasa pashyati durmitihi.
Thank you, Mataji. Some who is to take up English translation.
Hare Krishna. 18.15. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. 18.16. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are.
Yes. So here, one very important thing I will touch on. Now we understood that these 5 factors, the body, soul, senses, the endeavors, and the super soul, constitute or the 5 factors of any action. And whatever right, and the foolish person thinks that the unintelligent person thinks that he is the doer. And it also, there is a mention, the right and the wrong are very significant in this. So 2 things I wish to touch upon. What are the right or wrong actions? What is right for me could be wrong to you, or what is right to you could be wrong to me. So how do we define what is right or wrong? What are your thoughts?
Prabhuji, if it is based on scriptures, then we can consider it is, which one is good and which one is bad.
Yes, Mataji. Perfect answer. And the second point, the most question in level 1 is, now you say that I am not the doer and all 5 constitutes the action, and then why I am suffering? We are doing by the supreme will of the Lord. Why I should suffer? Why this reaction coming to me? What is the answer for this? What do you think?
Purva karma, Prabhuji. Whatever we have done earlier.
No, my question is, yes, Purva Karma, we are struggling here, it is all fine. But that Purva Karma, I am not the doer, isn't it? As per this. It is constitution of these 5 things, including the super soul.
But
Then why
whatever
I am
we are
struggling
doing
of
as per
my...
dharma or not, Prabhuji, like if we are
Sorry,
doing is
Mataji.
as per dharma, like as per the like whatever is prescribed or whatever the duty we are doing, is this prescribed duty we are doing or not? If it is not the prescribed duty, or we are not following the principles, like those are those would be a papa karya. So those we carry births to the later births, right, Prabhuji? So
Correct, Mataji. So my point was, all those Papa Karya, I am not the one who did. Now I am telling, okay, I am telling, it is constitution of 5 factors here who did that. Why I am suffering? The simple answer to this is, the choice, the free will was with me to do that or not to do that. And when we have surrendered to Krishna, Krishna, who is the super soul, he guides us. If not, when I am in the entanglement of Maya and I am doing activities against scriptures, so what Krishna does is he sanctions, he is a witness. Yeah, that is why I am struggling for my prarabdha karmas or whatever karmas I've done here. Moving further, the same thing has been discussed. So we are moving, we'll just touch upon another 5-6 minutes and then we will stop our session today. The section C talks more about the modes control all the activities. As said, one work according to the 5 factors as we discussed, and all activities within the universe are thus, as we have aligned to Maya, we are doing all the activities by the influence of material mode. The same thing we discussed. Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Eta Tarantite. So what we need to understand here is the divine energy of mind, Krishna is saying, constitute of 3 material modes of nature and very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me, it's easily they can cross beyond. So surrendering to Krishna is very important. So let us complete today's session by these 3 shlokas, and we can continue next Saturday. So quickly somebody can take up this shloka recitation, and we'll give opportunity for English later.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावम् अव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकं पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथक्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसं यत्तु कृत्स्नवद् एकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतद्वार्थवद् अल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So Manmonika Mataji, you want to read this English translation?
Yes. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So about material modes of nature, we have discussed at length in chapter 14. So modes of goodness, modes of passion, and modes of ignorance. So what comes to your mind when we first talk about modes of goodness, or modes of passion, or modes of ignorance? What happens in modes of goodness or passion or ignorance?
Mode of Hare Krishna Prabhuji, mode of ignorance, people are like they're lazy, they're inactive,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they're not clean and all that. In mode of passion, they're more inclined towards material gains, or probably even luxury, things like that. And in mode of passion, mode of goodness, they're a little elevated from the other two. And yes, they follow like austerity and things like that, Prabhuji.
Yes, perfect. Almost there, 99 out of 100. So mode of goodness signifies knowledge and illumination. Mode of passion, as you rightly said, the materialistic people and the people with sense-enjoying propensities. And mode of ignorance is laziness, darkness, or inactivity, right? And here what we are learning is 3 kinds of knowledge based on modes of material nature. So what kind of a person's knowledge in these different modes? So person in mode of goodness sees one spirit soul in every living entity. He sees spirit soul in every living entity. It could be demigod or human being, animal, bird, or any aquatics. He sees it as spirit soul, Pandita Samadarshinaha. At the same time, 18.21, modes of passion. Here we discuss about the bodily concept. They think we are this body. That is the false ego. I am Santosh, I am Indian, I am white, I am dark, I am fat, I am thin. These are all bodily concept. The concept who thinks material body is the living entity, and that with the destruction of that body, the consciousness is also destroyed. Such a knowledge is mode of passion. And in mode of ignorance, the knowledge of a common man today is always in the mode of darkness or ignorance. 99% of the population is living in this mode of ignorance. It says, Janmana Jayate Shudra. Everybody has born as Shudra in darkness. And how do we rise above this? Is by taking the shelter of the Guru Parampara. Tadvidhi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanta te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. So the jnani who has already seen the absolute truth, you have to take shelter under such a bona fide spiritual master and humbly gain knowledge by offering services. That way one rise from the level of Shudra. For a person in mode of ignorance, for him, God is money. And what is knowledge for him? Knowledge is satisfying his own bodily demands. It is absolutely an animal life. That is how we were all living before coming into Krishna consciousness. We were living only for eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. This is what even animals are doing out there on roads. So having come to Krishna consciousness, the first thing, knowledge is Atato Brahma Jignasa. we need to realize we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. And the purpose of this body is to engage in devotional service. This body is like a temple where the Supreme Personality is residing. We have to use this body in the service of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. The knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is knowledge in mode of goodness. Knowledge which produce many mental speculations, theories, that is in mode of passion. And knowledge to keep the body comfortable is in mode of ignorance. So with this, I will come to end. It's already 10 o'clock. I'll come to end of this session today. We already discussed Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabham. Coming this far is important. What is very important is to going further. So I wish you all to come back next session. There are a lot of important topics to complete. So next Saturday and Sunday, we will complete our level 2 chapters. Meanwhile, please complete all your quizzes. It is very simple quizzes. Please complete it so that you can progress to level 3. So with this, I will end our session. I'm already 3 minutes late to my next class. So further question and answers we can take up in the next class. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare
Hare Krishna.